Oh, hello, yeah. Well, good grief, that was a bit of a political bombshell, wasn't it? Yeah, you're saying to yourself, good grief, didn't see that coming. No, indeed. Edmund Burke, yes, he of, well, the Burke family. Yes, been fined €225,000 and told not to turn up at a school, if you don't mind. Yes, it's the ongoing story of the Burke family, good Christians, all of them, who, well, have decided that their Christianity makes them totally unaccountable. Might be a theme for the day, that one. Anyway, rather than bang him up in prison again for just being a nasty transphobe, the judges decided to, well, fine him €225,000. Some of you will be slightly unfamiliar with the conversion rates for euros and pounds, and it's about £225,000. There you go. That's not hard, is it? Anyway, yeah, rather than turning him into yet another dreadful Christian martyr or, a free speech martyr, a bit like Graham Linehan is, they've decided just to fine him a great deal. I think British judges maybe should do the same thing, especially with, well, certain other Irish people. Anyway, yeah, did have to smile at the family's press conference as it was released on Twitter. The mum really reminds me of Dawn French, which I find quite disconcerting. Anyway, she called the judge and the judiciary as Judas, which is a nice biblical reference, I guess. Yes, Judases, plural. Yes, not just one. You get more for your money in Catholic Ireland, don't you? Anyway, that one's going to run and run. I'm surprised that God hasn't intervened, to be quite honest. You would have thought that he would send a thunderbolt. Or is that Zeus? I don't know, I get confused with the gods. Anyway, yesterday and today is the Reform Party conference, so that's going to be full of, Reform Party types and various people hoiking their wares, including, of course, Nigel Farage. So those of you that have got some spare bullion, you might want to, well, take his advice, because after all, he's a very trustworthy individual, as they all are. So there you go, you can always do bullion things, yes. Bit of a grift, and very much in the Trumpian mode of grifterdom. We did have various pieces in the British press yesterday. There was an interview with Zia Youssef in the Telegraph, where they were outlining what they're going to do. I'd be a bit worried as to whether or not they're going to get it past the membership, what with there being no votes whatsoever, because that's reform for you. You can give them 25 quid and they'll tell you what they're going to do. There is a metaphor there which I'll leave you to ponder. It's not that deep. Yeah, anyway, Farage wants US-style cabinet instead of elected MPs. Yeah, because Zia has realised that one of the messy businesses of government is the fact that people that make the decisions at a cabinet level have to interact with real people, and apparently it's a bit of a drag, and they might, decide not to do things which are really appalling. So what they're going to do is they're going to basically bung their mates into the Lords. Yes, I can see this coming. I'm not stupid, Zia. And make them Lords, a bit like Lord Cameron was, you recall, when he was allowed, therefore, to be Foreign Secretary. And the beauty of that is, well, MPs can't question members of the House of Lords. Oh, isn't that convenient? Yes, no electorate to listen to whatsoever, and no accountability in Parliament. Still, let's not worry about that, eh? Yes, let's not worry about unelected bureaucrats. Yes, you can see the direction of travel there. I did have to smile at this notion as in the Telegraph. They did actually write this. Details of the thinking are revealed in an interview with the Telegraph by Zia Youssef, who has emerged as one of Reform's most influential figures. Yes, indeed. But I think he's emerged because he's someone with probably just a great deal of bullion, isn't he? Yes, he's apparently he's perfectly well equipped to make these kind of decisions because he has a background in business. But of course, his business was selling things to rich people. And I'm sorry, but historically, I will automatically have to think of Hermann Göring, who was, very much elevated in under Adolf Hitler in the 1930s to sell the idea of Nazism to the rich. I'm not saying that, Zia Youssef is indeed in any way, shape or form like Hermann Göring. Of course not. I'm just making those kind of parallels historically, because sometimes you have to, don't you? Yeah, make of that what you will. There was this piece by Sherelle Jacobs, who I'm absolutely convinced is a DEI hire, woman of colour working for the Telegraph. It's a bit of a giveaway. Anyway, Farage will be the first Prime Minister for 30 years with a plan for government. I thought, oh, right, OK, this is going to be a laugh. Yes, indeed. And the plan, apparently is to do all of the things that you'd expect them to do, which is basically flog you bullion and be basically unaccountable whilst bringing in tax cuts and deregulating the economy so their mates become rich, many of whom will after all sit in cabinet. So after all, they'll be the experts that are telling you the right things, won't they? And again, I did have to smile at this. If New Labour could be summed up in a single word, modernisation. Yeah, it really does need a colon there, Sherelle. Anyway, Fawzia Youssef, Reform's head of government efficiency. Yeah, remember them, the Doge unit. Yeah, they discovered that there wasn't really anything going on, and they decided they don't like flags and they don't like pension schemes much. Anyway, the mission of the party can also be captured in a single idea: patriotism. Yes, which isn't a plan. I don't want to shock you, but if I was to say to you, well, I'm going to redesign the kitchen, and you said, well, can you sum it up in one word? And I said patriotism, you would run away screaming with the idea that I'm just going to have loads and loads of, very, very disgusting Union flags. Probably, I'll be standing in front of them, a bit like Keir Starmer does. Yes, appalling, those people that rely on the flag. What faux patriotic thieves they are. Anyway, yes, I'm sorry, but that isn't really saying much about anything. Anyway, yes, there is that plan for, well, bullion, one might say, and basically having a whole bunch of unelected bureaucrats in power. You can see that that's going to go down great. It does remind me of, one of those 1950s science fiction films. Yeah, all of these people will be, yes, them, won't they? Yes. Yeah, I can almost smell the acid from here. Anyway, do have a glorious Saturday if you can do. And remember, libertarian sense, if you don't have a great day, it's entirely your fault for not investing in bullion right. Did I mention investing in bullion? I think I should do. Have a lovely day if you can do, and if you can't, well, I don't care. There we are.